What's good, everybody? It's STEMFLAG. We back. We about to touch another very important topic in basic algebra. This topic is called square roots. And as you can see, I have a few things set up ready for us to go. I know y'all busy. And I just want to break down this symbol right here. The symbol itself is called a radical. The number inside or under the radical is called the radicand. You'll have a number inside of there. And right here, you'll have another number. Or you might not. You might not see a number. This is called the index. And this is very important. And what I want to explain is the only case where you won't see a number inside the radical in the index slot is when it look like this. But just know there's an invisible 2 right there. Again, if you see a radical and it doesn't have a number inside of it in the index position, then no is an invisible 2. Other than that, you will always see an index. It'll be 3. It can be 4. It can be 5. It can be 10. Whatever. It doesn't matter. You'll see the number inside and so on. Any number can be in the index. The only case where you won't see a number, then no, there's an invisible 2. Okay, now that we got that understanding, let's go back to our previous video where we touched on some perfect squares. Now, a perfect square is a number times itself, however many times. And a square, if you square it, that's a number times itself. If you cube it, it's a number times itself times itself. If you raise it to the 4th power, a number times itself times itself times itself times itself, and so on. So let's go over a few examples. 1 squared equals 1 times 1, which is 1. 2 squared is 2 times 2, which is 4. 3 squared is 3 times 3, which is 9. Now, remember what we just covered. Let's say, for instance, we want to find the square root of this value, 1. Then what we do, we put this number in here, 1, which is equal to 1 squared, which is equal to what? 1. The reason being, remember, there's an invisible 2. And what happens? These values cancel out, and the 1 is left over. Okay, let's do it again. We want to know the square root of 4. We put the 4 in here. Another way of writing it is like this. 2 squared. There's an invisible 2 inside. These cancel out. And what happens? That equals 2. Right? Let's do the next one. This is the concept. We take this 9. We put it in here, which equals 3 squared. We know there's an invisible 2. These cancel out, and that equals 3. Now, this is the basic concept of it. Now, let's say, for instance, we had 1 cubed, or 1 to the power, raised to the power of 3, which is 1 times 1 times 1 times 1, right? That equals 1. Now let's take 2 cubed raised to the power of 3. That's 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8. Let's take 3 cubed, which is 3 times 3 times 3, which is 27, right? Now, we want to know the cube root of 1, right? So we take this, we put this here, we're going to let it be known the index is 3, which is written like that. We put the 1 in, another way, 1. What happens? These cancel out, and that equals 1, right? Let's go to the next step. Let's go to the next one so y'all can get the hang of it. The cube root of 8, another way of writing this, 2 to the 3. We know the index is 3. What happens? We cancel these 3's out, and the answer is 2, right? Now, once you get familiar with this, let me put the 3 right here. Once you get familiar, you will automatically know 27. Another way of writing 27 is 3 to the 3. So you can actually skip that step. But what happens? That's 3. And it's simple as that. This is the basic foundations, the basic steps. In the next upcoming videos, we'll give y'all a little more intricate examples. But for the most part, it's simple. It's not that tough. This is the concept. Square roots. It's STEMFLAG. Hit that button and subscribe.